Hi, this is Jimmy. I want to talk about geography. It's a subject that many of you, if not all of you, take when you go to secondary school. So what does geography mean? Geography means study of the earth, because it's made out of two words, geo and graphy. The Greek word geo means earth, the planet that we live on, and the Greek word graphy means study. So in essence, geography is the study of the earth, and that includes ourselves, because we live on the earth, and the earth consists of the plants, the animals, including us, the humans, as well as the non-living elements of nature, like the rocks, the air, and the water, the sea, and rivers, and so on. So the lens through which we study geography is mainly based on the, if I'm not wrong, on the Western perspective, and inevitably has to do with some traces of colonialism, and maybe I will talk about that some other time. It's a big topic or subtopic. But okay, the reason why I say that is because geography is mainly studied in secondary schools in many places, including Singapore, using the Cambridge syllabus, and that is developed through the Western perspective. Like when we study a tropical rainforest, which is not found in Europe, it's studied from that perspective, the European colonial perspective. But if we were to go into the rainforest and meet the native, the indigenous people, and we look at how they understand the environment around them, how they study geography in their own language and culture, we may find very different perspectives. So how do we bridge that gap? For now, I don't really have a ready answer, but I simply want to highlight the fact that the subject that we study in secondary school in Singapore is mainly through the Western or European colonial perspective or lens. So it's not really to say which is better, which is correct, because everything is ultimately subjective. It just happens to be made universally standardized through this Cambridge syllabus, and I think it helps to be aware of that, because how we study geography shapes the way we perceive ourselves, the way we perceive the world around us, the way we understand why things happen the way they do. So the study of geography has to be taken into account that we study from a certain perspective of a certain culture or tradition, and it helps to be open to other ways of looking at things, looking at the earth, looking at ourselves. For example, in the Australian desert, the Australian Aborigines, they have their own myth and tradition and stories and food laws and explanation that might seem strange to us, but It might be closer to the universal truth than what we know through science, Western science. They have this dream mythology, the dream world, and what the earth looks like to them. It might be seen as backward or superstition to modern day Western trained and Western educated people like many of us who went through this Singapore education system. But let's not discount totally what this ancient aboriginal tradition has passed on from generation to generation. Something must have enabled them. Something must have caught their attention and helped them to survive and thrive in that kind of environment. As compared to us, we may have all this knowledge in our head. We may score very well in our exam, but if we put ourselves in the same desert environment as the Australian Aborigine, can we really even survive for long? With all our knowledge, all our degrees and grades, how well can we survive or adapt to natural environment where people are literally exposed day to day with nature, the elements of nature? Can our degree save us? Can our money feed us? So basically, I want to draw the attention to the fact that geography is more than what we study in schools, right? Because we have been conditioned and programmed to study geography mainly to pass exams, to memorize certain facts. Well, it might be taught to think deeper about issues, geographical issues like famine, flood, MRT breakdown, and so on. But I believe there's more than that. There's more that meets the eye. So my message is, yes, let's study geography, but with the awareness that there are multiple perspectives, and ultimately we have to see that we are interrelated, we are interconnected as a species, and see ourselves as one with nature, one with the environment, that we are not separate from the earth. It's the illusion that we must awake from. Because despite years and decades and centuries of geographical education in westernized schools, we still face so much environmental problem, especially, or social problem, poverty, inequality, environmental degradation, deforestation, desertification, and what have you, global warming, climate change. All the years of geographical knowledge and education put together has not one bit solved all these issues. Something must be amiss, right? What have you been doing? Looking at the colorful splash pictorial and snazzy and jazzy and trendy design oriented school textbook does not save us. All these are merely eye candy. Geography is not about, really, it's not about colorful design and so-called revolutionary approach, pedagogy. We can argue about pedagogy until the cows come home. The inquiry approach, whether you want to call it inquiry approach, whether you want to call it, topical approach, whatever approach you take, it has its place. I'm not discounting all that. We have to use all the accumulated years of best practice in teaching, but we have to also acknowledge the fact that there's something amiss. When I studied geography in the 1990s, we learned about air pollution, noise pollution, land pollution, water pollution, and then in the year 2000s, hey, we still see a lot of air pollution. Haze coming from Indonesia to Malaysia and Singapore. And I thought that, okay, with all this education people have in schools, when they grow up, they would have done something, right? We should be seeing some improvement, right? All the years of pollution should have become less and less frequent, but instead, they seem to weaker again and again. Why? Something must be wrong with the way we teach and study geography. So, with that, again, I don't have a ready solution, but maybe we can look deeper and explore how we can better able to study geography and to away from this illusion of separateness. Because you can go to school, study about all the causes and effects of pollution, but the moment you step out of school, you still see people littering, throwing rubbish into the rivers and on the streets. So what happened? School doesn't really help, right? Doesn't really inculcate that awareness after all. So that is something that I want to leave with the audience about geography. So thank you for watching and hope to catch up with you all again in another video. Bye.